break out the God Emperor Trump memes because we're getting unironic space marines. Let's watch this little report by Russia Today and see what's in store for us.
The USA already has the Army, the Navy, the Coast Guard, the Marine Corps, and there's the U.S. Air Force. But Donald Trump says that there's one potential conflict zone that's been too long neglected.
Very importantly, I'm hereby directing the Department of Defense and Pentagon to establish a Space Force as the sixth branch of the armed forces. That's a big statement.
Damn straight that's a big statement, but it's an inevitable one too, and the US military has been preparing for this for decades. The US military operates under a doctrine called full spectrum dominance. It's to have dominance of every space in which a war can be fought, and the space is the next space in which a war will be fought. So the question is, who is going to have dominance of space, because dominance of space will mean dominance of Earth, in the same way that dominance in the air meant dominance of the ground. This is important, and let's be honest, who would we rather be dominant in space? China, Russia, or the United States? It's got to be the United States. And Donald Trump is doing the smart thing and establishing military dominance of space in advance of the other countries doing the same. And that's assuming that they don't have a lot of stuff that I don't actually already know about and, you know, that isn't necessarily public knowledge. I'm sure they don't, I have no idea. But just, it's an important thing for the US to be dominating in space, because otherwise they're going to lose their dominance on the ground.
A new division of the U.S. military dedicated to waging extraterrestrial battles. And when it comes to finding a name for it, Hollywood is full of inspiration.
Service fucking guarantees citizenship. I love it. Unironic Space Marines.
Now the youth of tomorrow must travel across the stars.
Well, thanks for the copyright claim on this video, Russia Today.
To defend our world.
All right, people, on the ready line. Tiger me! Yeah! Tiger me! Yeah!
I love everything about this so far. This is the best way to advertise this to me. I don't know how it's helpful for the Kremlin to encourage people to support the US militarizing space, but I'm totally in favor of it now. Thank you very much.
Get on the ready line, Marine! Get down to die! Get on the ready line!
Stormtroopers? Really? Really, the US Army is going to put stormtroopers inspired by the Nazis into space, are they? Is that what's going to happen? That's very nice try there, Russia. Nice fucking try indeed.
But let's see if we can get some new ideas from the streets of New York.
Right, so you literally have nothing to say about this. It's not good or bad, because really it is inevitable. You can't sit there and go, oh, I can't believe Donald Trump would do this, because I've got no doubt that Russia is trying to do the same thing, and China is trying to do the same thing. Okay, let's hear some uneducated plebeian opinions.
Could be anything.
Trump-Denalia.
Call it Space Corps.
US.
Yeah, call it the Space Corps.
Space Force?
US.
No, just Space Corps' fine. That's fine. You have Space Marines, because that's awesome. And eventually we'll give them power armor, put Donald Trump on a golden throne and lead mankind into a great new age where we conquer the stars. That's what I reckon we should do.
Star Elite Force.
Twitter has gone wild ever since Donald Trump made the announcement, folks.
Well, if we didn't know what Twitter was saying, then we wouldn't know what anyone was saying, would we?
Online or even taking a stab at designing the logo. But here's a question. Who exactly will the Space Forces be fighting against, you know?
Look at this third one. Like, yeah, that's good stuff. Good stuff.
Up in the great beyond.
It's not enough that we're fighting with everybody that loves us. We're now going to fight in space. Ugh.
Okay, right. First off, no, we fight with our enemies. They don't generally tend to love us. And this kind of, I can't imagine a kind of more middle-class, confected outrage. She obviously has absolutely nothing to contribute to this, but she opposes Donald Trump. And she thinks we should all just get along. What about, like, John Lennon? Didn't he say something about love and peace? Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, you know you can't have this. You know that this is a nonsense thing. You know that this is just bullshit. The reason that you can do this is because of US hegemony. Because the US keeps itself safe, and by proxy, the rest of the West. Okay? You can sit there and go, all you want. But when the rubber meets the road, you fucking need this. And the US needs to be dominant in space. There's no getting around that. The alternatives are just unthinkable.
And Unless they're clearing up like the space junk that's like in the orbit, probably that, but nothing else like aliens wise.
First, you got to find, life in outer space.
Trump says this won't just be any intergalactic fighting force, it'll be number one.
Well, of course he says it's going to be number one. A, it's probably going to be the only one. But B, Trump would say it was number one regardless of what it's going to be like.
When it comes to defending America, it is not enough to merely have an American presence in space. We must have American dominance in space. So important.
Now, if how...
Well, he's correct, isn't he? I mean, he's not wrong. You do need to have American dominance in space. And this is coming from someone who's not an American, but looks at the alternatives and thinks, well, they look horrific.
Hollywood has taught us anything, it's that Trump is going to have plenty of competitors. Caleb Maupin, RT, New York.
What, Darth Putin? Yeah, I'm sure the Americans will have competitors, which is why they should establish themselves sooner rather than later, to make sure that the other major nations understand that it is going to be the American hegemony and the liberal way of life that will control the earth. And that's better for everyone. Even if you're not a liberal, even if you're one of the most hardcore Islamists in the world, having your own sovereign country in which you can support Sharia law and advocate for the execution of Jews and gays and women who decided that they might want to have a drive of a car one day or maybe leave the house on their own, you can do all of these things because you're free to do so in your own nations. But we need a liberal world order in order to have a plural world order. And this is what has to happen to keep that order in place. And it is better for everyone if it does remain. So in my opinion, bring on the unironic Space Marines and the unironic God Emperor memes.